It all began millions of years ago, when the Titans ruled the world, but they were overthrown by their own children, Zeus, Poseidon, and Hades. According to legend, Zeus persuaded Hades to create a monster called the Kraken to fight alongside them. After the war ended, Zeus ruled the skies, Poseidon ruled the seas, and Hades was tricked into ruling the underworld. Eventually, mankind was born. Their prayers fueled the gods' powers, but that power didn't last forever. Over time, humans began to rebel. A fisherman named Spiros found a floating coffin at sea. Inside was a living baby. The baby was in the arms of his dead mother. Spiros decided to raise the boy and named him Perseus. As the years passed, Perseus grew up with his new family. One day while they were out fishing, they noticed they couldn't catch anything. Spiros grew frustrated, believing the gods were punishing humanity for rebelling. He said, "If someone could just stop the gods' oppression, that would be great." The next day, while his family went to admire Zeus's statue, they saw Argos soldiers destroying it in act of war. Suddenly, mysterious winged creatures appeared and began slaughtering people. Perseus wanted to run, but Spiros told everyone to stay still and not draw attention. But the creatures merged into Hades, the god of the underworld. When he saw Perseus's family, he sank their boat immediately. The attack knocked Perseus unconscious. His family was dragged under the sea. Perseus tried to help but failed. Meanwhile, on Olympus, the gods were meeting to discuss how to handle the human rebellion. Some gods suggested peace talks, but Zeus, full of rage, firmly said he wouldn't make any deals. At that moment, Hades appeared and volunteered to punish mankind himself. He promised to put an end to their defiance. Zeus granted him full power even to destroy the world if needed. Meanwhile, Perseus was rescued by soldiers and taken to Argos. On the way, he met Procopion, a devout follower who urged people to submit to the gods for mercy. After crossing through lands filled with starving people, Perseus reached the palace, home to King Cepheus, Queen Cassiopeia, and Princess Andromeda. She tried to offer Perseus a drink, but was stopped by a soldier named Andromeda. Gave a speech opposing the war, fearing divine punishment, but the queen dismissed it. She declared that humans didn't need to fear the gods sometimes. Humans were even greater. She claimed Andromeda's beauty surpassed that of Aphrodite. Just then, black clouds rolled in. The clouds swallowed the gods except Perseus and transformed into Hades. He reminded the kings that they were creations of the gods. Then, he forced them all to kneel. Perseus tried to strike Hades, but he stopped when a woman named Io intervened. Meanwhile, Hades heard the queen's words and punished her by aging her instantly. He gave them 10 days to sacrifice the princess or he'd unleash the Kraken during a solar eclipse. Before leaving, Hades told Perseus the truth: his real father was Zeus. At Olympus, Hermes told Zeus about Perseus, but Zeus showed no emotion, since Perseus never prayed to him. Argos' Draco was about to burn Perseus' face to test if he was a demigod, but the king intervened. He asked Perseus to help humanity, but Perseus insisted he was just a man. Later, in his cell, I visited and revealed she was cursed with eternal youth for rejecting a god. She confessed she had watched over Perseus all his life. Yes, he was truly Zeus's son. Then, she told him the story. King Perseus had once attacked Olympus. Zeus disguised himself and slept with the queen. When Perseus found out, he executed her and their son Perseus, but before dying, he was struck by lightning and transformed into a monster. He threw the coffin into the sea. Only Perseus survived. Io said Perseus was born to kill the Kraken, which would weaken Hades. So Perseus accepted the mission driven by revenge. A small army was formed. Draco warned Perseus this was a suicide mission, driven by personal vengeance. But Perseus was determined to find a way to defeat the Kraken. Their first goal was to find the Stygian witches before leaving the city. 2 hunters, Kuka and Ozil, joined them. The brothers had knowledge of mythical creatures, so they were allowed to join the mission. Meanwhile, Hades met Perseus, now transformed into Cylibus, and convinced him to secretly help destroy Zeus. Hades gave Cylibus power and ordered him to kill Perseus. Elsewhere, Perseus traveled with the soldiers. He noticed that certain gods were watching him. Draco began training him. At first, Perseus fought like a common soldier, but soon his instincts kicked in, and he bested Draco with ease. Then, something unexpected happened. Zeus's interest in his son started to grow. He gifted Perseus a sword. But Perseus refused and gave it to Draco instead. While the soldiers were passing through the forest, they heard a scream. They found Cylibus tearing apart a soldier. Then, the fight began. Perseus was outmatched and even bitten by Cylibus. But reinforcements arrived and saved him. Cutting of Cylibus' hand, surrounded, Cylibus fled. His severed hand transformed into a scorpion. The soldiers caught up to him again, but his blood spawned more giant scorpions from the ground. Cylibus escaped once more. A new battle began. The scorpions quickly overwhelmed them. Many soldiers died. Perseus was attacked too, but Io saved him. Meanwhile, Draco showed his combat prowess. Draco was the only one who managed to take down one of the giant scorpions. Perseus was attacked again, and everyone thought he was dead, but he stabbed it from the inside and killed it. Though Perseus barely survived, the group was immediately surrounded by more giant scorpions. Just in time, they were rescued by a mysterious desert tribe called the Jinn, who used magic to stop the creatures. Suddenly, Perseus began suffering from Cylibus poison. Draco suggested asking Zeus for help, but Perseus refused. Meanwhile in Argos, Andromeda discovered Procopion preparing a sacrificial altar for her. Back with Perseus as his condition worsened, I went to find water. One of the Jinn, named Suleiman, stepped in and burned the wound with magic. The soldiers misunderstood and attacked, but stopped when they saw Perseus was healed. The Jinn chose to join the mission too. They had their own grudge against the gods. Draco scolded Perseus for not using Zeus's divine gifts, but Perseus said he didn't want to be like the gods. The Jinn then turned a giant scorpion into a mount. They rode it across the desert and mountains to the Garden of Stygia, where the Kraken once defeated the Titans. There, they found the Stygian witches who shared a single eye. The witches recognized Perseus by his bloodline and knew why he had come. But before speaking, they demanded a sacrifice and attacked a soldier. Perseus grabbed their eye and forced them to reveal how to defeat the Kraken. They said only Medusa's gaze could stop it. But to reach her, they'd need to cross the river Styx, a river that leads into the underworld. Before leaving, the witches cursed Perseus. They said fate had already decided. Perseus would die. Later, when Perseus was alone, he met Zeus. Zeus warned him not to continue the quest. He would die just as the witches foretold. Zeus offered him a peaceful life among the gods. But Perseus declined that offer. Zeus gave him a gold coin as a parting gift. Soon after, the brothers Ozil and Kuka gave Perseus a shield made from scorpion shell. As a farewell gift, since they weren't willing to enter the underworld. The rest of the group, ready to take the risk, continued onward. They reached the river Styx, where Perseus used Zeus's coin to summon Kraken. Kraken ferried them across the river of death. On the way, Io explained she couldn't enter Medusa's temple because women weren't allowed inside. After a long journey, they finally reached the temple. Medusa quickly sensed their presence. She attacked, burning Draco and some soldiers, then turned others to stone with her gaze. Perseus distracted Medusa to give Suleiman an opening, but Suleiman was caught. Her gaze didn't affect him, so he sacrificed himself by detonating, hoping to hurt her. That gave Draco time to use a stone trap to pin Medusa down. Though he turned to stone himself, it gave Perseus the chance to decapitate her. He emerged from the temple with her head. But suddenly, Calliope appeared and stabbed Io. Another battle began. Perseus was overpowered, but when he saw Io in danger, he used Zeus's sword. With his divine power, he defeated Calliope. Calliope reverted to his human form before dying. He asked Perseus not to become like the gods. Perseus then rushed to say goodbye to Io. As her body turned to golden dust and floated into the sky. Shortly after, Perseus was aided by Pegasus. He flew back to Argos. Meanwhile, on Olympus, Hades unleashed the Kraken. The Kraken rose from the ocean depths. In Argos, Procopian had agreed to seize Andromeda, tying her to the altar for sacrifice. Just as they prepared, the Kraken attacked the city. Many lives were lost. On Olympus, Hades revealed it had all been his plan. He grew stronger from death and suffering, and now he had enough power to overthrow Zeus. Zeus warned Hades that Perseus was still alive. Hades rushed to stop him. As Perseus arrived in Argos, Hades vanished and sent creatures to attack. One of them stole Medusa's head, leading to a wild chase across the city. The destruction continued, but Perseus wasn't alone. Kuka and Ozil returned on giant scorpions. The moment of truth had come. The Kraken revealed its full terrifying form. Time was running out. Perseus leapt from Pegasus to retrieve Medusa's head. He landed on the altar and fought off enemies, including Procopian. Perseus climbed to the highest point and raised Medusa's head before the Kraken. Procopian tried to stop him, but the king intervened. Then, the Kraken turned to stone before it could strike. Part of its body collapsed onto Procopian and the king. Andromeda was knocked into the water. Just then, Hades appeared to confront Perseus. This time, Perseus used a sword to banish Hades back to the underworld. He dove into the water to rescue Andromeda. She asked him to stay in Argos and rule beside her, but Perseus just wanted to live as an ordinary man. He flew off with Pegasus. Later, at Zeus's old altar, Perseus received a visit from his father. Zeus offered him a place on Olympus once again, but Perseus refused. Zeus respected his decision and, as a sign of love, brought Io back to life. 10 years passed, and Io had passed away. Perseus now lived with his son, Helios, as a fisherman by the shore. One night, Zeus visited them. He warned that humans had stopped praying to the gods, weakening their power. Kronos was preparing to release demons from Tartarus, and worse. Kronos himself could soon break free. Zeus asked Perseus to help the gods, but Perseus refused. He couldn't leave his son. That night, he dreamed of underworld beasts killing humans. A giant fiery hand rose from the earth, destroying everything. Elsewhere, Zeus, Poseidon, and Ares gathered to enter Tartarus. Hades greeted them. They asked for permission to enter, promising to repair the wall of Tartarus, but Hades betrayed them. He unleashed monsters and killed Poseidon. Ares attacked Zeus, revealing he'd joined his uncle's side. Meanwhile, a chimera attacked the city. Perseus picked up Zeus's sword and rushed to help. He found Helios and realized the monsters were after his son, not him. When Helios was cornered, Perseus tried to draw the beast's attention and confronted it directly. Luckily, it got caught in a trap, but not for long. It broke free and dragged Perseus across the beach. He got back up and fought with all his strength, luring the chimera into another trap. Finally, it exploded and burned to ashes. After that, Perseus and Helios traveled to the mountain of the gods, trying to contact Zeus, but instead, Poseidon appeared. He explained that Hades and Ares had joined forces with the Titans to destroy both gods and men. Their only hope now was to rescue Zeus, who was imprisoned in the underworld. Poseidon knew the task was too great, so he asked Perseus to team up with his own son, a demigod named Aegina. Aegina lived in Argos and knew how to enter Tartarus. Poseidon asked Perseus to give his trident to Aegina if he proved himself. After finishing his message, Poseidon's body turned to dust. Meanwhile, Hades revealed to Zeus that they had joined Kronos, who promised them immortality. Perseus said goodbye to his son and gave him a wooden talisman before flying to Argos on Pegasus. He was nearly attacked. People mistook him for a monster. Thankfully, Andromeda recognized him and saved him just in time. When Perseus arrived, all the soldiers paid respect to him as the hero who once defeated the Kraken. With Andromeda's help, he met Aegina, who turned out to be just a thief. Perseus tried to convince Aegina to cooperate, revealing they were cousins, both sons of gods. He asked Aegina to help him reach Tartarus in exchange for freedom. Aegina agreed, and Andromeda joined the journey. On the sea, Aegina explained that Tartarus was created by the god Hephaestus. Perseus told Andromeda that Hephaestus forged the god's weapons, the trident, Hades' pitchfork, and Zeus's lightning bolt. When combined, they formed the Spear of Triumph, the weapon used to defeat Kronos long ago. After receiving Poseidon's trident, Aegina used it to open a path to a hidden island. That island was where Hephaestus had gone into hiding. Meanwhile, Hades brought Zeus to Kronos' prison. When Perseus and his group arrived, they entered a forest full of traps. The first to disappear was Aegina. Perseus soon realized their attackers were Cyclopes. As he and the soldiers fought back, Andromeda and the others hid, but the Cyclops quickly found her. Perseus fought one by striking its hand and using the terrain's traps to knock it out. Holding Poseidon's trident, he threatened the others. The Cyclops backed off, impressed by Perseus' command of divine power, and returned Aegina. Meanwhile, Hades began regretting betraying Zeus. He watched Kronos slowly drain Zeus's power. The Cyclops guided the group to Hephaestus' home. He remembered Perseus from the Kraken battle. Perseus begged for help to free Zeus, but Hephaestus refused. He had no divine power left. so Andromeda approached him. When Hephaestus saw her, he thought of Aphrodite, his former wife. He decided to help them. Hephaestus explained that he built Tartarus and had created a secret path to its heart. Meanwhile, Hades tried to justify his betrayal, saying gods aren't like humans. If they die, they disappear forever. When Perseus and the others reached the entrance to Tartarus, they were shocked to find Ares waiting. As Perseus battled his brother, Hephaestus opened the secret door, but Ares was powerful, and the gate was closing. Hephaestus used his cane to hold the gate open and fought Ares himself. Thanks to his sacrifice, the group made it through in time. Aegina grabbed Hephaestus's map and led the way. Through a labyrinth that shifted constantly. After a while, they argued Perseus wanted to read the map himself. Frustrated, Aegina led them to a stone platform that dropped them into a trap below. As a wall nearly crushed Andromeda, Perseus and Aegina worked together to save her, though she was safe. Perseus was separated from the group. He saw his son, but realized it was only an illusion. Then he was attacked by a minotaur. Perseus fought back, pinning the beast and stabbing it in the heart. When the Minotaur died, the labyrinth reshaped itself, allowing him to reunite with the others at Tartarus's gate. By now, Kronos had drained all of Zeus's power. Zeus apologized to Hades for banishing him to the underworld, but it was clear Zeus hadn't forgiven the betrayal. He asked Hades to release him. Just as Hades was about to, Ares intervened, trying to kill Zeus with his lightning bolt. But Zeus, still conscious, managed to hold it back. In that moment, Hades struck. He shoved his nephew aside. Perseus arrived just as Kronos was about to break free. Ares attacked again. Though Hades couldn't stop him, Zeus and Perseus combined their weapons and teleported to the surface, though Perseus forgot his son's sword. Having escaped, Zeus, now near death, told Perseus to finish the battle. Perseus knew he needed Zeus's lightning bolt, which Ares had taken. Meanwhile, the army prepared for war, covering themselves in mud to withstand Kronos' fire. They took their positions on the battlefield. Soon, a volcano erupted. Kronos had released his demonic army. Aegina led the soldiers into battle while Andromeda commanded the cavalry. Perseus confronted Ares and found that he had taken Helios hostage. Ares didn't want to kill the boy. He wanted Perseus to die in front of his son. The brothers clashed. Ares had the upper hand, easily disarming Perseus and knocking him down. Helios watched helplessly. Perseus tried to fight back with rocks, but did little damage. Meanwhile, Kronos' monsters continued killing. Hades appeared again. Seeing the dire situation, he approached his brother, Zeus. Hades shared some of his power with Zeus to keep him alive. The two gods stood side by side once again, ready to fight together. Elsewhere, Helios tried to defend his father, giving Perseus time to recover. Perseus stabbed Ares with Helios' wooden sword, then used Zeus's lightning bolt to destroy him. But the true battle had just begun. At last, Kronos broke free from Tartarus. Perseus had now collected all three godly weapons and forged the Spear of Triumph. Zeus and Hades attacked Kronos with lightning, but it wasn't enough. Perseus couldn't get close. Then, Zeus and Hades launched one last combined attack. That weakened Kronos enough. Perseus seized the moment, flew into Kronos' body, slashed from the inside, and hurled the spear, causing Kronos to explode. Andromeda survived, Perseus reunited with Zeus and Hades. Zeus said he had no power left, and even Hades couldn't save him. He asked Perseus to use his strength wisely. After saying farewell, Zeus's body dissolved into golden dust. Hades also lost his power. Perseus approached Andromeda and kissed her for the first time. Then, he gave the sword to Helios, telling him to be proud of who he was, the son of Perseus and grandson of the gods. And that was the end of this story. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.